Thank you for joining us for our holiday edition of Impact, featuring Grammy-nominated couple, the Baylors. Tonight, your host, Thornell Jones from the Ovation Agency and Jason Kramer from KCRW will have a delightful conversation with them about their recent nomination. There you go, gents. It's on you.
We're definitely going to do. Thank you, Allison. We're going to do recent nomination and all kinds of conversation. This last year was so much fun. I was just like, oh, we have to do it again. So I think we're going to, anyone who's not going to be on screen needs to be muted. And so that when we, I think Allison froze. Did Allison freeze?
No, I'm just off.
Okay, cool. Well, on my screen you froze. So anyway, we're back. Anyway, welcome. This is the holiday edition of Impact Music, Media, and Culture, and we're so excited to have you back. When the nominations were announced, I was just like, yes. And it was just like, you know, like your family had been acknowledged once again. And, you know, maybe, you know, as I always say, maybe this is the year you guys bring home the hardware, but, you know, these nominations are absolutely putting your names out there in front of folks as the Baylor Project. And I'm just so proud to see, you know, this recognition. It's really, really, really awesome. When you heard the nominations this year, what did you think?
Thank you. We were ecstatic.
Yes.
Ecstatic, because you just never know until that moment when, you know, the names and artists are announced. So you're like, well, you know, we did everything, we did our best, you know, and that's when we kind of just leave it and see where it goes. So, but we were excited when they came over. Like,
well, let me tell you, your best is something else. This album is so awesome. You know, when I was doing the Instagram stories, I said, you know, striving has, you know, that's my thing. And I was like, okay, if this doesn't get them, you know, nothing will. But Jean, the vocal performance, the arrangement, Kenny's, I just like this is, it sucks you in and it takes you on a journey. So I guess why don't we just get into the album and talk a little bit about the theme, generations, and, you know, how it all came together.
Wow. Well, you can start off by talking about that.
Yeah. So the concept, Marcus was like, all right, you know, we should start thinking about the next album, you know, writing about whatever. It's like, okay. So just kind of, you know, shift your gears, you know, the energy of just like you're always creative, but like you just have a different focus when you know, okay, we're going to start really putting some energy toward it. And so we were at our good friend, our Auntie Gail Boyd's house, she and her husband, Mr. Walter Beach, and just having breakfast and like family friend time with them and another couple, Richard and Kathleen Glover. And so we're talking around the table with this home cooked breakfast, eating these home cooked biscuits that just melt in your mouth and land right on your hips. And they're that good to where you just don't even care. You're like, and another one. Yeah. So we're talking about stories of when they were young and the different experiences that were normal to them, like the ice box or the refrigerator, the meter man for the refrigerator. And of course we were like, what? So they're telling us about this stuff. We're cracking up. And the concept came just like that. And I remember we were taping some of the conversations because they were so good, so funny. And I said, babe, I got the concept. I told him it's generation. He was like, okay, whatever that means. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but it's this. And so we went on that journey of kind of figuring out, or just, you know, letting the songs come to life to kind of encapsulate that moment of what so many of us do, sit around the table, eating good home cooked food, talking about stories, culture, family, faith, community, all that good stuff.
And it feels like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It feels like that. It absolutely feels like that. It's instantly familiar to me, you know? Oh, yeah. I mean, and for those people who don't have a reference point for, music from various eras and stuff like that, it is a wonderful walk through jazz and Black music and stuff. It's like at one point, I can't even tell you, I've gotten to a point now where I don't remember song names. But there's one song in there, I was just like, well, go ahead, Lady Day.
Wow.
It's just a fabulous piece of music. So you're sitting there talking about biscuits. See, Jason, that's the downside. On one hand, you fork out this money, you get all this great food, but then you also have to deal with the hips. It's not something you can, it's always a trade-off, Jay.
I get it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it's crazy because it's like when we spoke last year, sit on down just happened just
Right.
out of, just sitting in the house, remember we talked about all that. And that was just like a funny song that Jean made that came out of a challenge. And, was blessed to get nominated. But we were really living in the space of working on his album last year of Generations. And so, I mean, it's something because, being able to culturally think about just all the different walks of our lives from us as kids, from being pastors' kids, all the way to listening to hip hop, it's like, to me, I just feel like it's one of those, it's an album that really takes you through a walk of Black culture and, who we are as a people in a sense, just our side of it. That's what I would say.
Well, that's just what I totally get. It's such a slice of life kind of thing. Like I said, it was instantly familiar. You just totally nailed it. Now, what the secret is, Jason, what was your best friend's name in coming up? What was his name?
Well, the William and Danny too.
I'm talking about your friend. What was his nickname?
Oh, Buster.
Buster, right. So don't think that Jason's foreign to this because he used to go hang out with Buster.
Okay, got it. So yes. So yeah,
That's
that is
funny.
hilarious.
It was like, and the album itself, it's, talking about it, we didn't have all these the clarity as we're going through the journey of each song. It's just, we're just kind of, figuring it out and tying out in themes of different things. And once we got to the end of it, we're like, oh, okay, I get it. I get the clear picture of all of it.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I call like a cultural anthology of faith, family, community, but they're general, broad enough concepts that anybody can relate to, because I would imagine all people groups across the globe, the kitchen is always the heart of the home. So wherever the food is, that's where people gonna gather. The kitchen could be this big,
right? And
you have a big old house, and somehow everybody's gonna end up in the kitchen eating, talking, hey, shucking peas or whatever it is. Shucking.
Yep. That's right.
And that's the vibe of the album. It's specifically, there are references, of course, that are told through the lens of the Black experience, but overall, it's just all of these human connections between individuals and families and friends and extended family and immediate family. And it's really that human connection that we're really talking about, that builds those tenets of faith, family, love, culture, community.
Faith, family, love, culture, and community. All right. I love it.
All right.
No, that's good. That is so great. And you're right. Those are like the tenets that are kind of universal. How they manifest is a little different. I was sitting as you were sitting there talking about the kitchen being the heart of the home. I certainly have those experiences. Whether it was my grandmother saying, y'all get on out of here now, it's sending us away, or whether it was like when I was in Hollywood and I would have a Sunday dinner with my friends, because we're all from different places and stuff like that. So it was found family. And, I would invite people over on Sunday and I would cook, and everybody would just kind of sidle up into the kitchen instead of hanging out in the living room, watching the TV, stuff like that. And it was just like the process of making the food, the process of exchanging, in that environment. I don't know. I don't know if it's it's a need to just be close to the action, or whether it's something about food. And I really do actually think it has something to do with food.
Oh, yeah.
Because and the senses and stuff like that. Because
Well,
what are those things that stick? It's those things that actually touch our multiple senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, sound. So when you're in that environment, you gotta get immersed in it. Jay, what were you saying?
well, you actually get all the pleasures with food
Yes.
at once because it's not holding you back. I mean, it's not, it's the pleasures of seeing people, like you said, taste, all the rushes of the chemicals go in your brain. But what I was going to say, it's funny because a lot of cultures in the United States don't really all go around the kitchen.
Okay. Do tell.
Well, I think I think it, and I hate this term. I hate the term POC. I don't like it at all.
Okay.
But I'm going to use it in this word, but there seems to be more of a family-oriented cultures with like Latinos and Blacks and Asians, and where it goes around with food, whereas like white culture really doesn't have that much. Jewish culture does, obviously.
Jewish culture does, but you know what? The thing I would say is, while the quote unquote white culture, the mainstream culture,
Kind of boring.
Anglo-Saxon culture, maybe not gravitates around the kitchen, I still think there are food tent poles. Like, for example, barbecue. There's a whole thing around barbecue.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's true.
And what else? There's other things, other things like that. But like barbecue is definitely one that sticks out. And you're right, Southern Texas, places where there's ranches and things like that. And
yeah, but for the most part, it's like home-style buffet. It's not really.
Golden Corral.
Oh my God.
Right.
Not Golden Corral. Oh my goodness. So I mean, since we're like going around in the album stuff, do you guys have there's two of you, so I'm sure you have your own perspectives. But Jean, what's your favorite song on the album, if you have a favorite?
I don't even know. What's my favorite song? Did I ever say what my favorite song?
I mean, it probably depends on, for the both of us, probably the mood each day.
It depends on the mood, because there was a time when I was just listening to like I was striving, and summertime I'll go to the track and I'll put striving, keep it, get me moving, and I'll listen to it while I was running. And then like a few months later, it was like all about We Swing. For a while I would listen to We every time I go in the car, I put on We Swing, and just like for months. And then now it's like Infant Eyes. I'm in that space where it's like, okay, I need something to calm me down. Yeah. Infant Eyes are becoming. So those may be my top three. There's an issue down here with somebody. I don't know what it is, but there's fire trucks and going.
Oh, okay.
You'll hear that. So
it's fun. Yeah. We're not really hearing it, so you're good. Just as long as you.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those I think are three of my favorites that I'll probably listen to.
I would say, I mean, I guess We Swing, after we did the video with featuring rising star, well, she is a star,
right?
Jasmine Horn, and
Jasmine Horn is donkulous.
Yeah, she is a star. and Diane Reeves, as we know,
of course,
just legend. Yeah, and yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say that. Yeah, I would say We Swing, and then Love Makes Me Sing was something special. That was like the last song, one of the last songs we recorded. I was actually watching a teen Netflix series, and I heard what I thought was "Hey, Mr. DJ" from Jean's old group Jean, and I'm like, man, they this song got synced in the show. And so then I was listening. I was like, no, that's not Jean. And Jean told me about the original composer by the name of Michael Wyckoff. And it sent me down this road of listening to his records. And there was a particular album that I got to the last song, and I kept hearing the arrangement over this tune called Love Makes Me Sing.
Right.
Like it was to me, I started hearing in my head strings meets Ahmed Jamal, Porciani groove.
Right.
And so that was the inspiration. And, you know, of course, Jean was letting me have it. Like, I don't want to record nothing else. I'm done. And the next day she got to singing the song and we finally worked it out to go in the studio and, you know, and record it. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, I mean, I think it's the body of work to me more than anything. But I guess that's the producer side.
It
I
is.
was
To
say
see the
you were
whole-
definitely in producer mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm putting that together. So I mean, maybe this is not, maybe it's a little gauche to ask this question, but it's like, do you think like having like a Jasmine Horn and Diane Reeves and Kenny Garrett, who I've known since I was in college, on this album kind of brought a special light to the project? Because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So that for me, that's the elephant in the room, because I was.
But it's like, it definitely did. But it's like the weird, crazy thing about it is like whenever, like we never set out to ever have guests on our albums.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's more so like, okay, the first thing is to tell our story.
Yeah.
And the minute we got inside of, so it was when we started writing, you know, Striving.
Right.
Said, man, okay, that's only one person, because it was like a Ray Charles influence meets a Boogaloo, Lou Donaldson. It gave me that vibe, but then I was thinking, man, this needs a saxophone solo, and that was only one person that I mean, there are a lot of people that could have did it, but from playing with him for years, that has that soul and that feel. Right. And I said Kenny Garrett, and when it came to We Swing,
right,
you know, I wasn't really trying to pay attention to Jean, but she was saying it would just be my dream, you know, on this song to show three generations, which would be Jasmine, myself, and Diane Reeves. Man, that, I can just hear them on this.
Right.
I'm thinking like, what?
I'm like, oh,
and I could
so great.
And I couldn't believe, you know, so it's like they all said yes. And then I was taking a jog last year. Well, yeah, last year during the pandemic. And there's a song that features Jameson Ross, an amazing artist, drummer, and singer.
That's another time he wasn't trying.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to hear Jean. Like I was, she told me a year ago, I can hear Jameson on this. Oh my God. I was like, no, Jean is fine just the way it is. A year later, I was jogging and I said, man.
After them recorded it.
I was like, man, Jameson would really be amazing on this. So that's how all of it, you know, all the features came about in Sullivan Fortner. I mean, yeah, it's like 4 features.
Yeah.
And,
So,
yeah.
And do you really, I mean, not do you,
Sullivan.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
I like that one in a special way because it's so quirky. And the way Sullivan plays the piano is just, I mean, it's obviously in the vein of Thelonious Monk, but he's such a phenomenal player and genius, really. He was literally the perfect piano player to feature on that because he's just, he was like in his sleep. Oh yeah, that's what you want.
And he's a modern day, he's a genius. Like really he recorded.
And Eric Reed actually was one of the writers on that because it was on the sound check.
Yeah, that's right.
And he started playing and Des started playing the bass. Marcus came in, Keith came in.
It was a sound check at Half Moon Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Half Moon Bay, California.
Started vibing on it. And I know it was jazz, but all I could hear was like hip hop.
Right.
And I'm like, okay.
What was that, a seizure?
Yeah.
Right. And those that don't know Sullivan Fortner, he played piano. There's a Cecile McLaurin Savant record where it's just piano and voice. I think that record won a Grammy. That's Sullivan on the piano. Yeah, he's a genius.
He's like otherworldly.
Yeah, he's otherworldly.
What's his name? Sullivan
Fortner. And I think him and John Batiste, they went to high school together in New Orleans.
Oh, right.
Something in the war.
Yeah, I think they went to high school together. Yeah, he's from New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
I always am fascinated by how people from all over, all walks of life, all generations, whatever, connect through the music. And I'm not surprised that Jasmine and Diane Reeves said yes.
Oh my God.
You guys are carrying the torch, if you would, and the quality of your productions is just, I mean, as independent artists, it's really extraordinary. Obviously, that is, comes from both of your professional backgrounds, knowing, how you want it to sound sonically, but it's so refreshing. I'm just so tired of people making excuses, and you guys don't make excuses. What you,
wow.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And,
Wow.
it's, I would
That's
say
what I hear.
that definitely our experience has a lot to do with it. Even going into doing photo shoots and videos and all that, like my Motown experience in Motown 25 years ago kind of exposed me to that certain level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, we're not working with those big budgets or anything like that, but we realize, like, okay, if you know what you're looking for and, the level, the quality that you want, and you can find really talented people,
Yes.
you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for something. I mean, sometimes you get what you pay for, but at the same time, like, there's certain people you can find that are in a sweet spot
Yes.
where they're coming along, but they got the goods. And like
Yeah.
our photographer,
Yeah.
Danica Peniston, oh my gosh, she's in
Yeah.
New York, and what an
She
eye
is-
this one.
oh my goodness, all of your pictures are
She is the
amazing.
business.
Yeah, she is the business, absolutely.
Oh,
And like everything. I mean, I guess really talk about that when you guys are thinking about how you're going to package this. How did you come to this new image of you on the stairs and everything? I mean, that looks like Asian Fateen's house
so
in
Right.
Philadelphia.
We should have went to their house. Right. That's what we could have
Right.
said. Yeah.
You remember that number? No.
Yes.
So for both albums, when it's time to craft the artwork, which I really enjoy, because you can just be conceptual, I always go back to the drawing board. I go back to the music,
Right.
and I put it in my car. I know it's old school. Put
Mhm.
it in my car when I'm grocery shopping, whatever I'm doing. Listen to it, and then go back to the foundation of what we're doing, and talk through it. Because I just talk to myself. It works. And I say, well, what are we talking about? What do we want to say? How do we want to give a visual interpretation of the music? That kind of thing. And I'll talk it over. I have some bullet points or ideas, and I'll talk it over with him. And both times, he always comes up with the type of location. The first time, he was like, I think I want to do it at church. And this time, he was like, I want a big house with a porch. And I'm like, okay, we live in New Jersey, and you're not going to go down south for a big house and a porch. Like, what? And it was a process, but I ended up looking up different websites, different things, different homes for film, but we're in Jersey. So it's like nothing.
Right.
So then I thought about bed and breakfast, because they usually have nice architecture. And then I Googled Black owned breakfast because
Yes.
bed and breakfast, because I needed the scenery or what have you to kind of reflect the culture of the music. And Aquaba came up, and I'm like, wow, all right. So we saw the one in Brooklyn, and it was like
You got the Aquaba house.
the Aquaba house, the Aquaba
No,
mansion.
Aquaba mansion. That's
Aquaba
what it is.
mansion. Yeah, there's like 5 properties.
Oh,
Monica
yeah.
and
She was featured in Essence, I think.
yeah.
I read about them.
Mhm.
Yes.
There's a property in Philadelphia, one in DC, one in Poconos or something like that. We're gonna do Philly, but we went to see the site in Brooklyn because we saw the pictures, and I'm like, this is looking pretty amazing. And we walk in, this beautiful porch. I'm like, oh my gosh, original architecture, original floors, original thresholds, and all this stuff. And you walk through these series of beautiful doors,
Yeah.
and there's this sweeping staircase
Mhm.
and this like vase of cotton. I'm like, this is it.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know what
Yeah.
we have to do.
Absolutely nail the vibe. It's
my
so
God.
it's everything that you wanted to say. It's absolutely everything you wanted to say. And it's I guess I'm stumbling over myself a little bit because I'm fanboying a little bit, because the album is so wonderful. I love you guys as a couple, but it's like the music for me is always what cements it. The idea of celebrating family in this kind of way, or intergenerational relationships in this way, it's something that really kind of pushes my buttons. So we're gonna do a little pivot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about holiday traditions. Okay, you ready? You ready? We're sitting here. I just moved to Florida last year, and I got to tell you, I grew up in the Northeast, and I have my, traditional holiday traditions with the. Well, I'm not gonna talk about mine yet. I'll let you talk about yours. But now that I'm in Miami, and all bets are off when it comes to snow and Santa and things like that, I'm getting a little bit more frivolous with it. So there, hence the Santa sky. My brim for the holidays.
Yes, I'm with you.
I love it.
I want to be down there.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
be
well,
on the beach.
cold got to me. I was just like, after I left LA, it's like not doing it anymore. I don't know where Jason went, but maybe he's gonna come back with some Uncle Nearest. But I want to talk about holiday traditions. So, Jean, when you were growing up, what was Christmas like in your house?
Oh my gosh, if I can remember back that far.
Oh, girl, come on.
Way back when, once upon a time. Christmas was fun as a little girl, of course. Our parents would set up a tree and decorate it, and we would bake cookies and leave them out for Santa. And of course, we would go to bed, and Dad would get the gifts and put them on the trees, all the usual suspects. And I don't know how old I was when I started figuring out what that Santa was Dad. I don't remember exactly. I'm like, I don't know. But it was just a really warm, wonderful time. And I just, I gotta say, because I know everyone's holiday memories are not like that. And so I'm really thankful that we were blessed with really, really good parents. And I'm sitting there looking at this backdrop with all these family pictures of our parents and our grandparents and our brothers and sisters in the studio. It's within the artwork of the album. So we were just really blessed to have a great family. And, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. We had what we needed and more, a little more than that. But there was never like excess, and we didn't get a whole bunch of gifts, but we didn't care. And we were kind of raised not to care in a way where it was like, all my friends would always get way more gifts. They just did. And I didn't care. And it was like, I was just blessed to grow up with great values and parents who kind of reinforced that. My dad was a bit of a jokester, and because he would, how long he gets the chic pants when Jordache was out going back. And he's like, well, Jordache, I don't know about that. We can go to Woolworths and then I can put a J on it. And we're like, no.
Daddy didn't understand the value of brand.
Right. He's like, we can put a little sign on it and make everybody think it. We're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Jason, get down with the holiday traditions here. We'll get to you, Marcus, in a second.
Yes.
What was holiday like in your house? Because you have such an interesting, mix of things going on. What was holiday time in your house?
Growing up, always a Christmas tree, and always Hanukkah, and always Christmas.
Always a Christmas tree, always Hanukkah, and always Christmas.
Yeah.
So for Hanukkah, did you get like a gift every day, or 8 days of Hanukkah?
8 days, and then Christmas was just regular Christmas.
What's regular Christmas?
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought.
What's regular Christmas?
Well, let's see. The tree, the cookies, the food, the 5 presents underneath, or whatever it is. What else is regular Christmas? It was really just me and my mom. So yeah.
You like a bandit during the holidays, clearly.
Well, I mean, you want to get to the truth of it. I mean, all the songs are written by Jews, so.
Go ahead, Tin Pan Alley.
Macy's Christmas Parade, more Jew stuff. I mean, we've been playing you guys for years, all you Christians. So Jesus the Jew. So again, we've been playing you guys. So that's why we have 2 holidays and you guys only have 1. So
I love it.
Why are you Jason? That shit is funny.
Yes.
It's true.
Where did you grow up at, Jason? Are you from the West Coast?
No, yeah, of course, Los Angeles.
Okay.
So he doesn't know nothing about snow and shoveling And
No, I scored. You kidding? My parents were divorced. So, and I'm an only child and I'm an only adopted child. Oh my God. You kidding? I had like houses to go to every Christmas.
Wow,
hey.
man, that's cool.
So
Going East Coast to coast or
No. Just we're talking to Dad's house and my mom's house. So it was like two different holidays each time.
Mhm.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know. It's like having one parent, but
Yeah.
it is. I did have one parent, just had one parent here, one parent there.
Yeah.
What I can say is that there are a whole lot of people, at least for this part of your journey, would have traded places with you to have that level of love displayed and diversity of experience and stuff like that. I know for myself, we actually grew up in a bi-faith family, at least for a part of it. We had a little interracial Brady Bunch going on. And my dad and my mom both were Christian, and my grandfather was a pastor of a church. And so, that was very much part of our culture. But then when my dad married his second wife, she had actually converted to Judaism when she got married to her first husband. And so her kids were Jewish. So imagine the Brady Bunch if Marcia and Jan and I don't remember all the names, but 3 of them were Jewish and the others were Christian. So it was this concerted balance, effort to make a balance, and to honor both traditions. Yeah. So we definitely studied, not studied, but we definitely had Hanukkah and we had a Christmas. And then in the early 70s, after Kwanzaa was introduced, we do Kwanzaa. And so it was a lot of holidaying. So 8 days for Hanukkah, Christmas, and a week of Kwanzaa. That's a whole lot of holidaying, right?
That's a lot of celebrating.
You was ready to. Whew.
You got to be real festive.
And then my birthday is January 12th.
So you're the one that made out like a bandit.
No, actually, we were kind of like your family. We didn't have excess or anything like that. We got whatever. I always made a deal with my dad though, that I would forego any lavish gift on my birthday for something that was, a combined gift for Christmas. So invariably that was typically a suit from Bloomingdale's.
Ooh. Okay.
Or Macy's. Or Barney's before they went super upscale, but that was like that was a thing. I liked wearing suits. And then when I got into high school, I was on the speech and debate team and I had to
Wait, you were wearing Bloomingdale's suits in junior high?
No, probably from the time I was about 13, yes.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yeah, but
and all I wanted was Jordache. But I didn't get it.
No, but we knew how to work the sale rack. You got to know how to work the sale rack.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh
my God.
And anyway, that's the bottom line. But where was that taking me? That was taking me to Marcus. Share your growing up holiday stories.
Man, what I guess. Well, I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of 9. So my dad was the
baby of the bunch.
Made out very well.
Yes, so I made out pretty well. It was a lot of family. I mean, our Christmases are what you say, Jean? It's just a riot.
A festival.
She called
it
a
festival. It's a carnival. It's a whole Lollapalooza of everything. Because it's so many people. 9 people, and they all have families of their own and children. So there may be maybe 35 people at the house at any given time, 40 people, and it's 7 boys and 2 girls. So there's a lot of when you have that many kids, everybody's yelling and yelling.
Yes.
And I remember the first Christmas, New Year season I spent with them. I'm trying to hang with them. Now, this is like my big fat Greek wedding. He's the big family member.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like trying to, yeah. The next day, and it was Sunday morning, I'm supposed to sing in church, and I was like, I sound like Sammy Davis Jr. But they were just fine. They were like, hey, I was like, oh my God. Okay, that's the
So that's
last
what it was
time.
like.
Yeah.
That and sweet potato pies.
Woo, just
and,
food for day. No. Pans like his mom's pans that she cooks in, I could bathe in them. They're so big. I'm like, what is happening? But she cooked. She cooked for the family, cooked for the
Yeah.
church, cooked for the like so many pounds of chicken, like deep freezers, and
Right,
I'm
right,
just like,
right.
So
wow.
that's the holidays,
That's the
in a
holidays.
nutshell. That's pretty much.
A lot of
Yeah.
fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But at some point, every year I have to put on my coat and go outside. I don't care how cold it is in St. Louis, just for 10 minutes, just to get
Yes.
quiet. And then I can go back in, and and but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of everything. Whatever there is, there's a lot of it. Food, people, sound, music.
That's pretty much there. It is. That was upbringing.
Carnival.
The
Yes.
closest I can claim to anything like that was Christmas in Cherry Hill with my cousins. I think the most we ever had was 26.
Not really.
Yeah, because my aunt had a house in Cherry Hill, and my cousins went to Cherry Hill East, and so we would come down.
Wow.
You know exactly.
Yeah, I
down the
know
street.
exactly.
Yeah.
We would come down from New York, and then my cousins would be there. There were 5 of them, 5 boys and 1 girl, and then my cousin Karen would come in from Connecticut with her mother and father, and so it was just we'd all converge upon her house, and it was, and after a certain while, we settled into a rhythm. Okay, who's going to bring the pies? Who's going to bring this? Who's going to? It wasn't quite potluck, but my aunt would throw down with the turkey, and she was like one of the first people, who was like, we're not eating pork. So, we didn't have ham anymore, but she would put the smoked turkey in the collard greens, and the big family and all the noise, and definitely getting a 5-minute, 10-minute respite out on the porch or something away from all that craziness is definitely important. I'm so glad that we had this chance to get together, celebrate your nomination for Generations. It's been, in getting, together for this holiday edition, I was just like, we're gonna have some fun with them. We're gonna wear our little costumes and things of that nature, just as a homage to the holiday. I appreciate. Oh, you're jingling, baby. Go ahead, baby.
Go ahead, baby.
Yes.
All right. And this is Marcus, Santa's elf.
The cover of our Christmas album.
There you go. And it's funny because I was going to say, you guys need to do a Christmas album, because there's an article in Billboard right now about how Christmas just grows every year. And you put it out, and then it just grows and grows and grows and grows. And so you guys will be 70 years old, and you'll be the king and queen of Christmas.
Wow. And it's crazy because we just signed we never streamed any of our records.
Yeah, I went looking for it, and I was like, well, where is it at?
Now you can stream it every day, all day now, because we just signed a digital distribution deal with our label, with Motown Gospel, Capital Christian Music Group / Universal, under the umbrella of Universal Music. Yeah, so we like the first jazz artist to ever.
Yeah.
And we did it through our, our label.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's smart business, but you've earned it. You've incrementally grown. You've gotten the acclaim, and now having some more hands, to add some muscle to the marketing is just going to really add to the story.
Did you just show us your guns?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Like, bam.
Yes, he did.
Add some
working out.
Yes.
Lifting boxes.
Give it, Jason.
Yes.
We get you like a,
So do you guys think, I got a question. So what is it like out there in LA? Like, I guess I'm thinking about the Grammys. It's supposed to happen in January. So are things picking up the variant? Is it just, what is the deal?
Okay, so we all wear masks. We all have to show our vaccine cards pretty much everywhere we go. But that's just to indemnify any joint from dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of the city, especially in entertainment, is all vaccinated. There may be like 10 folks like Vanilla Ice and Donald. Well, no, even them, they're vaccinated too. But for the most part, I think everybody is vaccinated, so it's really not going to make a difference.
I did read that it's like 79.8% vaccinated. I think it's
Kid Rock, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kid
yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling that the words is going to happen.
Yeah.
They'll have it.
Well, they're
Are you coming out?
Yeah.
Well, yes,
yeah,
we're preparing to.
Yeah.
But it's
You're
just
preparing, and Jean, just make sure you get your designer mask to match your dress. You'll be good.
Designer mask.
That's right.
Thank you for that. Because I'm sure if we're doing it, they'll probably require masks to be seated, right?
Yeah, but everybody's gonna wear masks, but once you go inside, you just have a drink in your hand and you don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it. You won't be
He's
worried.
gonna have Lysol coming out of his pockets. And
I
spraying
keep
everybody.
Lysol.
He'll probably have a helmet. So I will have to
'Cause
get
we-
Ayasa to make.
because we just got back from, I guess about a couple, maybe almost a month ago, we got back from London. And London was like New York on 2000 before the pandemic. It was just jumping, no mask, and just, we had a great time. But London is on,
wow.
we had a great time, but it's like, man, I can't believe people are not wearing masks.
Yeah.
Oh, they weren't at all.
No mask. No, I felt like the oddball for wearing a mask,
Yeah.
but I kept it on.
It's funny because my wife and I, we were in North Carolina on a layover, and we ended up going to like a Denny's, and it was the same thing. I felt like the oddball going in there.
Yeah. They don't have a lot of masks out here. You got to wear one when you go inside. Like, the Target around my corner, there's probably 90% of the people who are wearing it inside, and the overhead announcement says, we encourage you to wear a mask, but there's no mandate, so they can't force you to wear it.
Right.
But I think inside in that retail environment, people are generally conforming. And, you bring it up because, and it's definitely relevant to the Grammys, because right now we have this, explosion or pending explosion. It hasn't really happened yet, but the Omicron variant, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed like we were at least getting a handle on the Delta variant, and now we have these two things that are circulating, right? So, but one thing we know after a year and a half, 2 years now of the almost 2 years of dealing with this virus is there are definitely mitigation things that you can do. And last year, I worked on a production for the Time Kid of the Year Awards, and there were all these protocols for testing and repeated testing, and obviously masks. And then when the vaccines came on board, then that added to the arsenal. So probably when people buy their tickets, there'll be instructions on you have to be vaccinated, maybe even having to be tested within 24 hours of the show or whatever like that. Those are the only kinds of things that you can do. But the Staples Center is really big.
Right.
And not to put the fear in anybody, but I went to this George Clinton concert, and when we went, we had to show our vaccine card. It was in New York, and we had to show our vaccine cards. And I only later on discovered that one of the people who was in our party had a fake vaccine card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really?
And didn't mention it.
And just didn't have, not even on the low, like, I'm just, I'm just like,
Right.
So there are people out there who are misrepresenting and not being honorable, and and have their reasons for not getting their vaccines, and they're potentially putting us all at risk. And so there's really no easy answer, but Jason's right for the most part.
That was me.
Out there. And we do have the vaccine card mandate, for indoor events and stuff like that. So at the very least, you'll know people are vaccinated when you get out here, and
At least pretending to be,
or pretending. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But thanks for the mask. I need
Thanks for that. I'm glad we brought that up.
the designer mask.
And I got to
definitely.
think about the boost and all that and get that together. Yeah.
Yep, I'm thinking about that, and I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to do that.
Schedule next Tuesday evening.
Tuesday.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So did you guys submit for the NAACP Image Awards this year?
Mm-hmm.
We did.
Yes.
We did.
So I'm claiming that you're going to win that, right?
Wow.
I'm claiming that you're going to win that, and I know Allison and I already talked about we'll be out in LA for the Image Awards. So while I won't be out there for the Grammys, please come. We'll do some fun, NAACP weekend stuff together, and you will have a lucite statue for your mantle.
Yeah.
I'm claiming that for you.
I hope so.
This album is, it's so good. But more than that, I just think that even knowing the NAACP audience, it's and the who's voting and stuff like that, it hits all the right notes of what were the things, Jean? Family, faith, what?
Faith, family, love, culture, and community.
There you go. See, that's NAACP.
What about food? The whole thing was about food.
Truly,
Yes,
I should have had food. That should have been the first.
And food.
And
Yeah, because you talked about that in the song.
Ooh, I did. One of the songs. I said,
remember.
Daddy's beans and mama's greens and the buttermilk cornbread.
Yeah.
You better clean your plate and eat it all. That's what she said.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's time for me to get something to eat. I know it's a little early there on the West Coast, but I am once again so glad that we were able to do this again this year.
Yes. Thank you all for inviting us. Yes.
Yes, and we, our dear new intern Joanna Preston is going to cut this up into a nice little promo. We'll push that out to all the people, and the full version will be available on YouTube for those people who want to go through this experience and hear all the raucous back and forth. This was fun, and I would say Merry Christmas. Jason, Happy Hanukkah.
That's done. You're too late.
I know.
Thank you.
As it was coming out of my mouth, I was just like, oh. And I knew that you were going to say something about it too. I was like, oh, he's going to ding me on this. But this is how we do. But thank you once again.
Yeah, and I want to thank you too for actually letting your students out early today so they could do their final on my class.
Oh, is that what they did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a whole sidebar. And I'll definitely let you know how I feel about that. But once again, thank you so much, guys. And
thank you all too. And have a wonderful holiday. And hope to see you when we come out there. Well,
yeah. Well, when we go,
not Miami.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
Al, you want to shut up?
Bye, Allison. Bye, Joanna.
Bye,
Yeah, guys.
everybody.
We'll see you on the Instagram.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Wait, hold on. You guys are doing, you have for the full album? Or
Yes,
okay.
full album and the
Now it's
single.
streaming.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yep, now it's streaming. It's been what, a week maybe, or
Yeah,
not
it
even?
just came out last week.
Yeah.
Who's else is on the single for you guys?
The guest on the song We Swing is with Jasmine Horn and Diane Reeves. Kenny Garrett is on the track.
And
Striving, and Jamison Ross is on a song called Only Believe. So it's like, yeah, and Jamison Ross is on piano on the
Sullivan
song.
Fortner.
So, why is they? I mean, Sullivan Fortner. Yes.
On
piano. Remember? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yes.
Sorry, your song title mixed up.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Thornell.
Great.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Allison. I had a
Yes,
great
you
time
guys.
seeing
Thank
you.
you, Baylors.
Yes.
And
Right.
this concludes our holiday edition of Impact, featuring the Baylors, who are going to win this year.
We're claiming
We're
that.
We're claiming it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. Good night.
You too. Thank you.